Hello, thank you so much for joining me. I thought I would get my lovely parasol out. I haven't used it this year. This is the first time. Um, I could have used it in the rain, except it's not waterproof. And if I had tried that, it would have been something akin to a wedding I went to many. So I'm just trying to turn it around so that the flowers are showing. There we are. No, there we are. Wedding I went to with a rather large white hat on, and we were outside having the photographs taken. And the rain started, but they said, "Oh, we'll keep going." And my hat gradually went lower and lower. I had to take it off because once it sort of hit, the brim was down here. Yes, it was keeping me dry, but it wasn't looking very good for their wedding photographs. So that went by the board. But I want to talk about how we teach others to treat us. And yes, we can set the tone for that. Very often, people will have already made up their mind about you that you aren't, you're down there, they're up there, or that you're a nice person to get to know, must have a good chat with them, or whatever, whatever. So you can guide their perception of you. And you can do that by showing them what you allow. So maybe they've observed you having a joke told against you and you laughed, okay. But then maybe people went a little bit further and they were saying things that made you uncomfortable, but you did not ask them to stop, move away. You just stood there and smiled and accepted it. So if you allow others to put you down, then don't be surprised if that tends to be the general run of the mill for how people treat you. Okay, you don't have to be aloof and I'm above you, mere mortals. No, just be natural, be normal, be open to starting conversations. And I remember working with a man in his 50s who had been horribly abused by his parents as a child. He'd gone on to hate going to school because he felt different, because he was withdrawn. And he came to see me. And it took 4 months or more for me not to address the top of his head, because that was his permanent position of default. I did not want to put the pressure on him and ask him, would he please look up? So it felt great when that head came up and I could see him just looking at me. And I said, that's great. I said, I can see what colour eyes you've got now for the first time. I said, now that you've lifted your head, can you lift it all the way? And he did. And he looked around him. And I just left him to it. I said, right, how does that feel? He said, I can see the world. I said, yes, you can. But that position had meant that even though he had worked for many years, he'd never made friends at work because he was withdrawn, he looked down, he was within himself. And he had not got the social skills of conversation, of chat. So we then went on to work out how to just chat with someone. I said, well, if you stand next to somebody at the bus stop, what do you do? He said, I'd turn the other way. I said, right, how about trying something? Maybe, I wonder if it's going to be on time today, this bus. Or being British, what about, oh, nice day for the time of year? Could I do that? I said, yes, of course you could. Have a go. And so he did. And next time he came in, I did it. I spoke to somebody. And you know, I could have cried buckets of tears because that was the beginning of opening his door for how people treated him. He said, I've never shaken hands with somebody. Can you show me how to shake hands? So we went through, the fishy, or the tight squeeze. I said, we're heading for somewhere in between. So he said, do I offer my hand? I said, yes, you can do. I said, or the other person might. He said, well, what if it's a lady? I said, well, it used to be that it would be the men that offered their hands. I said, but I certainly extend my hand for a handshake. So we went on from there. And I loved it when he came in and said, I've been invited to the works Christmas party. And I said, yes, I'm going. How to turn your life around when you really want to, when you really are keen to make those changes. And I used to get little messages from him when we'd stopped working together for a good few years, just to tell me that he was enjoying life. And I thought, good for you. I am so glad. So, on that note, I am going to try not to let my parasol fall on the floor as I say thank you for joining me. Take care, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now. Bye.